What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal. Yes, the Ashen one. The Ashen Lucario. The Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here. There's a couple more topics than last week. Thank fucking God. Thank God. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I definitely this might be like a niche thing, but I want to talk about that Mike Tyson uh Jake Paul situation and how
You
it's
mean
like
that fake ass fight?
that fake ass fight, the way that
You,
everybody knew it was fake as well. It's just like, come the fuck on. I
there
can't
was
believe
no
what?
clause for the KO either, and I'm like, ah, if there wasn't any of the clauses, and if it wasn't fake, I'm sure he would have finished that in the first two rounds, Mike, because he was in form for those first two.
Hmm.
But then afterwards, he was completely gassed.
Just
But you could
it's
tell it was 2 minute 8 rounds,
hmm
and there was all these clauses and stuff, and I'm like, as it okay, sure. If it was a proper boxing match, okay, fine. But you could clearly tell, like, that wasn't a proper boxing match at all. That was some exhibition, let's make some money
oh,
match.
100%. 100. I feel bad for anyone who was dumb enough to bet on Mike Tyson, honestly speaking. Because as soon as I heard the words, yeah, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul would be fighting, I'm like, oh, this is clearly like a rigged match. Clearly, it's fucking rigged. Obviously, it's rigged. Like, I feel like people don't believe that kind of stuff happens. Uh, except for in like television or movies or something. But I'm like, no, there's like 100%. There's no way that Jake is losing this, right? I got the right Paul brother, right? I think so.
Yeah,
They're,
you do.
they're yeah, they're both annoying and bothersome. So, but anyway, I did enjoy when Mike smacked the fuck out of him briefly, very briefly at the very beginning, when they were doing their little weigh-ins and doing their little, oh, let's talk shit before the match. Fucking Jake came up to him on all fours like a goddamn gorilla and then stepped on his foot. And I'm like, yeah, you should have slapped him a little bit harder. All right, you should have slapped him harder. This idea, I mean, listen, I've never been in a situation and I will never be in a situation where someone offers me $20 million to embarrass myself. So I can't relate. But like I just have a hard time. I mean, I guess money over like legacy, I guess you can say, you know what I'm saying? So
Well, I
anyway,
mean,
yeah.
to be honest, his legacy is solidified though, because
Mm.
the greatest heavyweight. Everyone knows him. You know, he has the whole show fights, one punch knockouts, all that kind of thing. So, and he's like what coming up 58. Like, just get the cash at this point. It's like everyone knows. It's like, okay, is it a sellout? Sure, but at the same time, it's not going to diminish his accomplishments. No one's going to see him as the sellout. They're going to see him as prime Mike Tyson.
I guess. I feel like people see him as like a sad old man, you know? Like a sad like I've seen the way that people have been going about it, and people are just talking trash. They're talking about how Jay can only win against old folks, and it's always rigged. And it's like, yeah, pretty much. That's basically how I'm
Well,
feeling about
I
it in
mean,
one way.
no one in their right mind would believe if it was prime Mike Tyson, Jake would even stand a chance.
Oh, he
Like,
wouldn't even stand in
it
the
wouldn't.
ring.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's kind of like, well, you're fighting super old. He's got brain damage and stuff, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, you know.
There was just too much going on with it. And I remember talking to my coworker about it and he was like, "Oh, I hope he beats the shit out of him." I'm just like, "Bro, that's not going to happen." Like it's just not it's not. Like you got to know how these things work at this point. Even someone like me, but someone who's not like super I'm not into boxing like at all, right? Even I was just kind of like, "Yeah, come on. Let's start being a little bit serious here. You know, we know what this is all about. It's always about a spectacle. I feel like I feel like if it was like an actual fight against someone who knew what they were doing and like was not 30 years their senior. You know, I just feel like it would have been a different kind of scenario with that. So it's just sad to see. I don't really care about Mike Tyson like that, given his history. But like as a boxer, it's just kind of like, man, for money, I guess money. I mean, listen, money talks, man, and bullshit fucking walks, and I get it. Like I can understand the concept of taking the 20 mil, taking a brief L, and enjoying the rest of your night, just enjoying the rest of your days, just enjoying yourself with your
The
cash.
thing
You know what I'm
is,
saying?
though, I don't think anyone who knows knew this was rigged. Like everyone there at the show or whatever, they knew what it was. So I don't think it diminishes anything or anything because they're all there just for the show, right?
Hmm.
The party afterwards, the drinks, the mingling. So they're like, yeah, we don't really care. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
I heard that Netflix was like ass though. Like trying to watch the show from there was horrendous, and I would have been pissed.
Oh,
I would have been so fucking mad about it, man.
well, I mean, to be honest, shout out to the free sites
T-
because, yeah,
you're telling me?
because there is no way you're paying for that fight. No way.
Yeah, absolutely not. What's up, Slow?
Yo, what up? What up?
Yeah, we're talking about that spectacle, that joke of a rigged fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's never gonna fight anybody that he thinks could actually beat him. So, and or if you want to believe Tyson had the opportunities to knock him out and just didn't take them due to contracts or money or whatever. Yeah, I'm with you on it. It's just it was. I don't think whether it's rigged or I mean, he's clearly choosing to fight people not just past their prime, people who are drawing Social Security at this point. Like he's not, and I'm not even joking. Mike Tyson is old enough to draw Social Security, so it's just like
Is he? He's only 58.
Yeah, I think
He's
Social
4
Security
years
starts
off.
at 54. I think is when it starts.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, he's not going to fight anyone that he thinks could actually beat him. And Tyson Fury beat him, but he didn't think Tyson Fury's a bum boxer. Like he's a young guy who's a bum boxer, and that's why he fought him, because he thought he was he was good enough to beat him. And Fury whooped his behind. So that's the barometer really there. Like any real legit boxer would absolutely destroy him in a real boxing fight.
I'm feeling it, man. Because even a bum is still a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta
Exactly.
you gotta measure it against like people who actually know what they're doing versus people who don't. Like take for instance, if I went against what's his name, Bronny, who's
Bronny
Bronny
James,
J.
sorry behind. Yeah.
Yeah, while he's getting decimated in the fucking league, putting up sorry numbers, right? If I went against him, he'd look like fucking prime Larry Bird, you know what I'm saying? Like he would kick my ass. It's all about context. It's all about who you're facing in that moment. So, yeah.
Exactly. It's
Mhm.
it's like it's like sure it's like the current champion Alexander Usyk. Like he's the current champion, and that fight would be done in less than a minute probably. Like there is no way Jake Paul would. For one, he wouldn't even book the fight because there's no way he can win. Like because this is your prime champion, and he hits like a freight truck. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're not really gonna take that fight. And it's like, well, I understand doing the show match. Everyone knows it's rigged, but you go into it for the entertainment purposes. Some people might go into it like, oh, look, it's Mike, he's fighting again. But it's like after the first 2 rounds, all the gas left.
And
Mike
to
looked
be
good
frank,
in the first two,
in
to
his
be fair.
prime, that was kind of Mike Tyson in his prime. If you were able to survive like the first 3 rounds, you
He
had
knocks you
a
out in the
much.
third.
Yeah, well, he mostly knocked a lot of people out in the first and second round, but like if you were able to make it to the third, you had a much higher chance of beating Mike Tyson.
Actually,
when he was.
I think he had more knockouts in the third round than he did the first, though, because he had 22 in the first,
Well,
but
I
he
said
had
past the
more in
third
the third.
round.
Oh,
I said
yeah,
past
yeah.
the third
Okay,
round.
yeah.
You make it past the third round. Like, but when Buster Douglas knocked him out and gave him his first loss, that was like, I think round 8 or something like that. A lot of his losses came to decisions where he was outboxed by someone like Lennox Lewis, outboxed them. Evander Holyfield outboxed them. At the time he didn't bite his ear, I think. So it's just after like you have to weather the storm for 3 rounds, and then you can like he when in his prime he would get kind of not like he wasn't like too passive or anything. It's just he didn't know what to do after that, and then his corner really didn't like help him out a lot of those times in those cases. But it didn't surprise me that after the second round it was pretty much over, because if you think like Jake wasn't even really, that's the reason why it was so boring, is that Jake wasn't really trying to like knock him out, and he wasn't really like, you could tell by his legs that like he wasn't good. And I think they interviewed him right afterwards. I asked him, "Are you injured? Is one of your legs injured? The one that he had the knee brace on?" And he basically was like, "Yeah, but it doesn't matter." And I'm just like, he wanted that money. He wanted that 20 million. He wasn't gonna not fight because of that. And I think he had like a health concern during training anyway. Like,
push the fight back, yeah.
Yeah, so he really, that I hope that's the last fight he does. And a lot of people have said, for his own, longevity in being in this world, that they hope he's done now. Because like 58's ridiculous. Like if he fights anyone else going on here, he's going on like literally 60 years old if he fights anyone else. That's just,
I don't think he will.
fam. Yeah,
I don't think he would.
After this, I don't think he could draw the kind of gate or the kind of like pay-per-view numbers or whatever in order to justify these scumbags like trotting him out there to risk his life again. So that's probably a good thing, that he probably wouldn't get as much attention for a fight as he did with this Jake Paul fight. And
yeah, I feel like Jake hit him up and was like, "Hey man, you want to make some quick money? Want to make some easy money, my boy? What's up?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I said. I was telling Singer this. My coworker was like, "Oh, I hope he beats the shit out of him. Oh, I hope because he hates the streamers and the YouTubers. He hates the Paul brothers. He hates them all, right?" And I'm just like,
they
bro,
are insufferable.
They are insufferable. Yes, I was like, man, this is a rigged fight. Like, he's not like, he would not have taken this if he was gonna actually win. Like, come on, So thankfully, my coworker, he listened. He bet on Paul, and so he got some money out of it. But yeah, talk about just very silly thing. Netflix was ass, as I heard. I personally would not have paid for that myself, because I'm just like, yeah, you're not gonna. I mean, it's a service, so it's kind of like whatever, right? But yeah, they made
broke
their
records
money.
though. I mean, hey, look, that women's fight, but right before the Tyson Paul fight, was actually pretty good. That was a better fight than the Tyson Paul fight. That girl's, good grief, that girl's eye got split open. That was, yo, shout out to her. She kept going too. That thing looked like an extra eye on top of her eye. It was nasty work. And she lost, and she had like 100 more landed shots. It was ridiculous. Like she got robbed, yo. But yeah. Do y'all think Netflix would do this again?
I think if they do it again, they need to pay someone to fix their fucking servers. I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, they weren't ready. They were, that was they probably have never had that many people all trying to log into Netflix all at once, ever. But like in Arcade says, yes, they will do it again. Jake Paul's a draw, and he's a draw. He's not a real boxer, but he's a draw because people love a villain to hate, and he understands that, and he's just going to keep making millions upon millions of dollars off of people hoping, like Luca's co-worker, that he gets knocked out. And he keeps this going because he keeps getting boxers or MMA fighters who are past their prime, not real boxers like the MMA fighters, or boxers, but they're too old to really do anything in the ring like they once could. And he's not going to fight a real dude, because then people are going to get what they want, which is him laid out in the ring. And then the next time he wants to set up another event, people got what they wanted. They got a saved clip on Twitter of him getting his jaw rocked. They're good. They don't want to see that. They don't need to see that no more. And it's just, so he's going to keep lining up these guys. That's just, people are going to keep getting fooled into thinking that Paul's actually going to lose. And, I don't think he makes a mistake of going after a Tyson Fury again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah. So, like I said before, I glad I didn't pay for any of that stuff. Yeah, we can just keep it freaking moving on that. Okay, so there was an Xbox ad this week. And I mean, they're pretty much saying the same thing they are always saying. They've been saying for like the last couple of years now. I don't know why anybody got upset about this. But basically, everything that you play on that has an internet connection is an Xbox. Okay, this is not like a new thing. This is something that they've been pushing, all right, for quite some time now. And I saw some people talk about Xbox messaging. I saw BG talk about Xbox messaging. I'm like, what? Are we really surprised here? Is this really like a shock? Like, Xbox's messaging has been very clear in the sense that they like to change their mind all the time, okay? And now at this point, they've made it clear that your fridge is an Xbox, okay? Your toaster is an Xbox, okay? Anything that has a Wi-Fi connection can be an Xbox, because Xbox is no longer the box. It is solely the brand, okay? And the brand consists of them putting their games any and everywhere. As soon as they said they were going to start putting Xbox games on PlayStation, people should have been like, oh yeah, okay, we see what Xbox is doing here. They're no longer confined to the box. And a lot of that has to do with just how expensive it is to make games at this point, and the amount of money that they've put into setting up and attempting to maintain Game Pass, especially at the height of the concept of, oh, it's the Netflix of gaming, even though Netflix is shown to be not as favorable as it once was, with them constantly canceling shows because it is a money laundering scheme. But don't get me into that, right? But anyway, like, they're I'm watching Amazon Prime shit. They're putting ads in the middle of my Alex Cross my start of the Alex Cross series. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, man, like, cable TV, man, bring that shit back, I guess you could say. I mean, it still exists, obviously, but it's like, it's really interesting to see that it's just not long term. It just was never going to really be sustainable. But that being said, with Call of Duty, coming out and letting them hit profit on that, I think, they're finally starting to ease out a bit. They're starting to find the momentum that we've been waiting for them to find for several years, right? But anyway, so Phil Spencer has responded to the launch of the company's "This is an Xbox" ad, which is already a meme online. All right. This week, Microsoft launched a new advertising campaign designed to hammer home the fact that you can play Xbox pretty much on any device and anywhere, sparking yet more backlash at the company's console strategy. The "This is the Xbox" campaign includes images of cats and bento box, among other devices to play video games. The idea that Microsoft is trying to get across, which is in keeping with its previous messaging, again, I would like to emphasize, in keeping with the previous messaging, is that Xbox is less about consoles these days and more about being able to play on any device capable of playing a video game. So in this sense, a TV is an Xbox, a phone is an Xbox, etc., 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 right? So, guys, how are we feeling?
Well, two things. One, the reason why people are up in arms about this is that there were content creators all this year that kept going. If you believe that they are going to actually put Halo, Gears, and Forza on a PlayStation, well, think again. That's not going to happen. If you believe that Starfield or Indiana Jones is going to PlayStation, well, think again. And every single time they came out and or gave signs that this was actually in fact something that they were going to be doing in the future, people still continued to deny it. People were even going to the point of, well, it's all rumors until they actually say it, until they actually tell us. So I'm not going to believe it. So yeah, the reason why there are people still making a big deal about this is that there are people who are still in denial about these things. There are content creators who do 5-hour podcasts calling everyone who actually listened to what they have been saying fake Xbox fans. So that's why it's still spoken of. That's why people are still talking about it, because there are people who are still living in their own reality, which isn't this reality where clearly Xbox is on their way to being a third-party publisher, if not already being there. That's it. My opinion on this whole thing is, what's the purpose of saying everything's an Xbox? My Apple Watch is an Xbox. My freaking Kindle that I don't use anymore is an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. But the experience on everything that isn't an Xbox console is subpar. Your Xbox app, trash on PC.
Oh, yeah, pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I agree.
xCloud, trash. GeForce Now, curb stomping the hell out of you. Xbox on Fire Stick, laughable. And you think you put that there and made such a big deal about it because you saw all those people who own a Fire Stick. You say, oh, wow, we could get all these people to become, a part of the Xbox ecosystem. Why would they do that if the experience sucks? If the latency is ridiculous? Why would they want to play in any way, shape, or form like this? Your mobile app, you've delayed it twice. You still can't get your mobile app out. So the experience outside of an Xbox console is either horrendous or subpar, or in the case of the actual Xbox console, lacking in content. And when I say lacking in content, I don't want the Xbox fanboys to get their jimmies in the rustle here. I'm talking about the fact that you guys still don't have Black Myth Wukong. That games that are like big games of the year continue to keep either missing your platform or being delayed on your platform. And so when it all comes down to it, what's an Xbox? What's third place actual console and a mediocre experience off a console? That's what an Xbox is. So the issue to me is improve your experience, improve the actual experience of playing games within your ecosystem, then start doing all your fancy marketing about what's an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Actually make it good before you do all that.
Okay.
Well then, for me, exactly the same thing as slow-mo. No, it's like everything slow-mo said is factual. Like it's like Xbox is third place. They clearly go in a different direction. The news about the handheld is, one can assume they said it'd be in a couple of years. So let's say it comes out with the next generation of console. I mean, to be fair, there's rumors all over the place. People are saying the new Xbox will be out by like 2026. Who the fuck knows? But they're making a handheld to get into the handheld gaming space, which makes more sense because it is growing market rather than console is growing very really super slowly. But handheld is growing really, really quick. So maybe they just, I hate to say it, but they'll probably go the Nintendo route and just become a handheld gaming device. Get rid of the console altogether. You could buy an Xbox handheld, or if you own a PlayStation, play their games. Own a Nintendo, play their games. Own a PC, play their games. Own a Fire Stick, play their games. And they'll just do that and just stick with the handheld or something because there'd be no point in making other consoles. So, I mean, that's the future of Xbox I see.
Well, for the time being, another console will come out. So what are you guys thinking? There won't be a what is it? Xbox 3?
Well,
I don't think.
I think at the very least they're going to have a handheld. Like, I mean, Phil Spencer has said it multiple times at this point where, you can pretty much guarantee there'll be a handheld. Now, will it be relevant by the time it comes out? Because I know a lot of the stuff they're trying to do behind the scenes with like Xbox OS and using like hypervisor in order to allow you to get the same experience everywhere. Like the things that I said they need to do, they are working on those things. It's just not quite ready for prime time yet. And I just kind of wonder, like, why would you be marketing this when you don't have it ready yet? Like, I wouldn't market an amazing experience that I'm working on and I'm 50% done. That's stupid. Don't wait. Keep the marketing campaign for when you're actually ready and you have the same UI consistently and it works the same way across every platform that you consider to be an Xbox. Then you step up and say that. When you can play your actual Xbox games that you own on PC, when you can play Halo Guardians on PC, or you can play Gears 5 on mobile, when you can play all of the games that you own on everything they call an Xbox, then you market this is an Xbox. You can't do those things yet. And Valve is about to eat their lunch in the worst way. Valve is pushing Steam OS, which is exactly what Microsoft is trying to do with Xbox OS, but it's Linux based. They are going to be pushing that to all those PC manufacturers making PC handhelds. They have big what is it called, Singer? Big screen mode. What is it? What is their big picture mode? Big picture mode, which you can use on a Steam Deck, you could use on any PC handheld device, or even like some of on your own PCs, or some of these other smaller PC devices like NVIDIA Shields and the little Basil devices people are using. Way better experience than very inefficient Windows. And while they're trying to get all their ducks in a row, Valve is already doing all that stuff. And Steam Deck 2 likely would be out before their Xbox handheld. So it's just, it's like they're either too early or they're too late, but they're never on time.
I don't think they'd be too late with the Xbox handheld because it's about price. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how much it'll cost. And it also depends on the factors of like people wanting to be in the Xbox ecosystem and not wanting to be on Steam, So I think that it depends on how much they price this thing at and how powerful it is. It's not going to be as powerful as the Steam Deck 2, but if they play it right, I think it could be successful. I like me a handheld. I'd grab me a nice little Xbox handheld, I would think. I am more likely. I'm more likely to get an Xbox handheld than I am another Xbox console. But go ahead, Singer.
All right, there's multiple caveats to this because Steam, as much as Steam Deck is a great selling console, handheld, it's not selling the huge amount of numbers to dominate the market of the handheld market. Same as the ROG Ally. Like the ROG Ally is way more niche, I'd say, than the Steam Deck, but it's like but because the handheld market is growing, because they reckon it's going to go from 20 billion to 40 billion by 2030, the amount of money in the market. Steam Deck isn't going to be selling 10, 15 million Steam Decks. For one, you can only buy them from Steam. They're not in your general store. So there's a limitation there. You can't just walk into your local Walmart or something and pick one up. Now, you can for the ROG Ally, probably. I don't know. Never looked for one. But so, and you also have to think of branding. Because in the general console space, people just think of Steam as PC, right? Oh, it's Steam, it's that PC thing. For as bad as Xbox is, it is still a recognizable brand in gaming. More so than Asus. Especially Asus. Because it's like, the average person will probably know what Xbox is, probably not what Asus is. On average, if you went around. So, I mean, they could take some of it. Obviously, Nintendo's going to dominate the space, but that's a given. Nintendo own it. So, you could take a piece of the pie, though. Because as popular as Nintendo is, it's only, 150 million by now. It's not like it's going to do like 200, 300 million. So there is room. So you may as well get in the market. And especially if the rumors are true about Sony making PlayStation making a handheld, that would put further credence into the market is massively growing. So everyone wants to get in. Nintendo is just in there. No one can compete with that. But like the Steam Deck isn't gonna control the market. The ROG Ally.
Yeah, but the thing is that Valve isn't really trying to control the market. Like they're not dumb. They're not putting their devices in Best Buys and Targets and Walmarts and GameStops and literally in Amazon. They're not. When you don't sell it anywhere but your own store, you're basically saying not only do we not want we don't want our game our hardware, sold everywhere. So we're not making as many of this everywhere. And we're not trying to give these retailers a cut of the sales either. So like, I mean, they're selling what they need to sell. But when I was talking about stuff like Steam OS, like that's different because you don't have to create the hardware. You can let everyone else create the hardware. You just provide the operating system to run it off of. And if you have it running efficiently and it's great, yeah, you're definitely going to have people actually looking to use that instead of using Windows 11 right now.
Well, yeah, especially in the OS department, but it's like if you think of the players that can get into it, it's like PlayStation will use their own OS, Xbox will use their own OS, the ROG Ally uses Windows.
It uses Windows 11, yeah.
It uses Windows. So if someone else comes into the game, they'll make like a kind of a nice little niche for themselves. But it's like none of these other companies. The only thing that would affect the Xbox handheld probably is when PlayStation release their handheld, because PlayStation's handheld will be really popular, just like the console, because you'll be able to play all the PlayStation games just on your handheld. So I could see that would have an effect. But it's like if they release their handheld in a couple of years before a PlayStation, for example, I think they can capture a bit of that market and be happy with it. Because I know for a fact you're not selling your game console in Asia. Xbox just doesn't sell them. So you may as well try a handheld, because that's where the handheld market is growing. It's not growing in the United States as much, or Europe. That's where it's growing, is Asia. They love handhelds. So if you get in it and try and get what you can get.
Yeah. All right, give me 1 second. So shout out to Arcade, re-upping member on the channel. Appreciate you, my boy. Shout out to Ronald with the big dono, $20, saying, long time since I checked in. Appreciate seeing you, my guy, saying, but what are your thoughts on the avowed code in the box deluxe? Shout out to Xbox continuing to screw their fan base. That's like a unfortunate trend with developers these days, right? Where they're just putting the code and not the actual
I
Disc?
think they're giving the disc. I think it's mostly Xbox that's not doing that now at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I mean, I haven't been a physical media. I mean, Nintendo, of course, would give you the full game. But I mean, I haven't been like a physical media guy in like
10 years.
I don't know,
Like
2017. So
yeah,
I don't know.
The last time I bought physical was probably what? Not even 2030. I was mainly digital in the 360 era. To be honest.
I'll be honest, like I know exactly the last physical game I bought. It was Persona 5 Royal. Yeah, that was the last physical game I bought, Persona 5 Royal. And then before that, it was like 13 Sentinels, something or another. What the fuck is that game called, Singer?
13 Sentinels.
Okay, I thought it had a longer title. My bad, man. But yeah,
well, yeah, it does have a sub name, but I can't remember it. I just call it 13 Sentinels. It does have a subtitle thing, a second name.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I buy most of my games digitally. That's PC, Xbox, and I've been buying digital for Xbox for a very long time because I have a game share partner, so we would share our games, right? And then for PlayStation, I would buy physical for PlayStation. But then, I'm not gonna lie, I started getting lazy. I was like, I just don't feel like getting up and changing the I know. I don't feel like getting up and changing the disc. So I do think it's shitty not to include the disc in the deluxe edition. I will agree with that. But I'm also not surprised by it. But I'm on your side with this, Ronald. I don't really like the practice when it comes to like those physical editions, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like at the end of the day, if you're spending money on a deluxe edition, you want that full experience, you want that disc so you can hang it up or, put it up, slide it in, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about putting it in the console.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, moving on from that. But yeah, so anyway, we just move on from that. But shout out to Ronald. Appreciate you, my guy. And saying, Meat Puppet, shout out to you saying, with the dono saying slow mo, how dare you use common sense and logic? Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. Okay.
That's all I know.
What I will say though is, even if they give you a physical disc, you still have to download a chunk of that game for a lot of games. Like you put the disc in, and then it starts downloading shit, and you're like, "So the game wasn't on the disc then?" Yeah, thanks. So companies are gonna eventually stop making discs. I think the only people that do it is Nintendo, but that's because Nintendo is still Nintendo's brain is still locked in like 2003.
Well, they also their games don't lose value,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they still don't have a decent chat system, so
they don't have a lot of stuff, and guess what? They still are successful. All right, it is it is what it is, man. When you're at the top, you can set the tone however you want. Unfortunately, so.
Yep, they probably won't have a decent chat system on or a messaging system on this next one too.
Nope. Guaranteed.
What happens when you're super successful and no one holds you accountable?
So yeah. But yeah, I definitely think the Xbox handheld can be successful. I love me a little handheld. I like buying handhelds. Do I use them? No, but I like buying a handheld. You know what I'm saying? I like to waste my money. It's like the idea, like the concept of just having something that you can take anywhere.
You just like portable. The idea
I do
of
like
portable.
I I'm all of us were, but I was a big Nintendo fan growing up. I remember my first handheld was the Game Boy Color. And then and it was the yellow one.
I'm telling you, Luca, you missed out though.
Awesome.
But going from the original Game Boy to the color, when you saw Pokemon actually in color, mind blown. Like,
I believe you. I definitely believe you, dude.
It was like, what? You actually had the you had the red on there. Pikachu was yellow. It's like, wow.
It's just and then I had the Game Boy Advance and then the Game Boy SP. I had the red one, right? I remember I accidentally broke my Game Boy SP and my grandpa bought me another one. But I guess he didn't tell my mom he bought me another one, right? So when my mom would ground me, I gave her the broken one and I just kept the one that worked. So good. Okay. Then I had the Nintendo DI and then I had what was it? Nintendo Lite, and then like I had the
XL.
The 3DS XL, which I fucking love. I still have that. It's actually on the other side of my room right now. So I'm a handheld gal. I like me a cheeky little handheld. So I can see the handheld being successful. I loved my PSP before it grew legs and walked out of my life, right? So I would definitely consider getting a PlayStation handheld too. So it just depends on the price and what it can do, if I can actually take it out of the house, etc. Right? So I think that there's definitely a market there and people who would be interested who aren't currently interested in getting another Xbox console. Because me personally, I have no interest in getting another Xbox console. They've made it clear what they plan on doing, so I will proceed from there, and I will, buy games where I want to buy them, because that's what they're all about. I hope they do take the time to fix the Xbox app and fix the Xbox ecosystem on other platforms outside of the actual Xbox, because again, the Xbox app is horrendous on PC. The Xbox app on my freaking ROG Ally pissed me off real bad, really, really badly. So I'm hoping that things can start to look up for the box boys, and like Phil, he came out, he reassured the bots and the Xbox enthusiasts, saying, he's like, once again, there will be another Xbox. Don't even worry about it, guys. Do I believe anything that comes out of that man's mouth? Not really, but there will be another Xbox. And so, we'll definitely do more consoles in the future and other devices. He said consoles with the S, so the implication there would be like they would probably do another series of where they'd have like a more powerful system and then like the lower entry system as well. So I think it still works.
I don't think that, because here's my thinking. Nintendo still call the Switch a console. So I'm thinking you can wordsmith your way into it, going, there will be consoles. After this next one, you're going to be stuck with a handheld, which technically can be classified as a console. Just saying.
Well, if you can dock it and put it on a big TV, then
there we go. They might have a dock. Yeah, they might have a dock and do what Nintendo do and just put it on. I mean, Steam has a dock. Steam, you could link that up to your TV and off you go. So, I mean, it could be classified as a console. So technically, he's not lying. They will have future consoles.
But I mean, we do have to acknowledge that every 2 years, Phil Spencer contradicts himself. True. So if he says it's not coming for a little while now, I mean, that kind of like plays out to his 2-year period of BS. Because, I mean, 2 years ago, he said that they acquired ZeniMax Media to bring exclusive content to Xbox gamers. Those are his words. I'm not even paraphrasing. That's what he said. So here we are 2 years later, and Indiana Jones, the first game Machine Games is putting out under Xbox, is going to be on PlayStation 3 months after Xbox. So yeah. Can't take anything he has to say for, as the gospel. He's going to contradict himself. He's going to change his mind. I mean, it's what these executives do.
Yeah, I can see it. Thing is, it's like, I mean, I assume next generation there'll be a console. The generation after that, though, I don't think even PlayStation, after the PS6, will probably make another console. It's a possibility.
I think it depends on how successful they are with the PS6.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is if the way the market turns and the way the world goes, things could change quickly, and PlayStation have shown they're willing to go beyond what they used to be. They used to be this is our closed place. No one else is allowed in. If you want our shit, come get it. Well, they've been slowly peeling away those walls, doing stuff. So, I mean, whatever makes money, I guess.
Yeah, but also I think there's been some recent data that the youth, the Gen Alpha, whatever you want to call the youngest of the youngins right now, are primarily wanting the game on consoles more than anything else. So, like, I think the people have been really kind of like predicting the doom of consoles for like 2 generations now, and I think it's just you just can't call it. Like, it's people are going to. Yes, with more technology, people have more options and will choose those, all those options. But I don't think that's going to turn into consoles are so irrelevant that like they're just not going to make them anymore. I just can't see that happening.
The thing is,
Like,
the way I see it, like the end of the PS6 generation will be like 2035, probably 2036. We're coming up to 2040 at that point. Like, it's impossible to predict, but they might have technology at that point to the point where maybe the console isn't the best value for money way to game at that point. There might be something else. So it's impossible to tell because we can't go to 2040 and is there a PlayStation still? Is there an X? There definitely won't be an Xbox in 2040.
yeah, probably
but
not.
No, they won't. I can guarantee you that. So that is one guarantee. But
Will there even be an Earth in 2040? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, will an AI rebellion, Skynet happen? I mean,
My biggest fear.
yeah, I mean, AI is getting there. They're sticking AI in everything now. Your fridge, your microwave, your freaking washing machine. I mean,
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, Phil, Mr. Spencer reassured folks that everything's gonna be all good in the neighboring hood in the next couple of years when it comes to the Xbox. So we'll see what happens there. I had a lot of critique for them when they said they weren't coming out with a mid-gen refresh, but as I stated before, after the PS5 Pro price reveal, I was like, perhaps not. Perhaps that was not a bad idea on their part. So I'm very curious to see what these new consoles will be doing, especially since we've reached such a high level when it comes to graphics and visuals. I'm very curious about what the next generation will bring, especially since games already look so good and already, for the most part, run relatively well on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So, you know, but I do want to ask this: if Xbox comes out with a handheld, are you guys getting one?
yeah, I would. Just
It
for the
depends.
novelty idea.
I've never been much of a handheld guy anyway. It just depends on what it provides. Because Sarah Bond did say the their next piece of hardware, if I recall correctly, the biggest leap or technological leap or something like that. So I mean, to me, that like if it's just doing what Nintendo already did or what the other PC handhelds are doing, then that's not doing what she said it should be doing. So I'm thinking more than likely you gotta have something else cooking instead of just basically a PC handheld with hypervisor. Like I think you need probably something a little bit more than that. So we'll see what they got, but otherwise I'm gonna wait and see.
I'll definitely get one. Because it's like I'll just get one for the novelty factor, probably put it on the shelf and call it a day because it's like don't have a Switch for obvious reasons. So for the exact same reasons, I wouldn't need an Xbox handheld, so I just put it up there just to say, because Xbox could disappear as a brand, so it's probably worth holding on to something like that. And then, just like remember, and then you could sit back and go, remember when Xbox used to make consoles and handhelds? Yeah, I remember. But it's not really going to be used because I have a PC and a Steam Deck, which can already play the Xbox games, even though you do, have to you have to install Windows onto it. But that's just a thing,
Alrighty. Okay, so Shadow of the Erdtree's gonna win Game of the Year, huh? What's up?
Yeah, it is. It is. Like, Jeff covered his ass.
Yeah, basically.
Jeff completely. He was like,
fucking bullshit, bro.
The thing is, he played it well, but we all know what it is, because he was like, what will more likely get nominated for Game of the Year? And I guarantee you, all the people behind the Game Awards, when they list all the people who vote, they were all like, we want to be nominating Erdtree. So he's like, okay, how can I get away with this? Oh, I'll just put out a statement. By the way, remakes, expansions, DLCs, all could be nominated, even though the years before they couldn't be nominated. Oh, but all of a sudden now they can be.
Shadow of the Erdtree does not deserve it, all right?
No.
Great expansion, had a great time with it, but then afterwards, I was like, I actually have some issues with some of the things here, After people were done gagging on it, and, common sense came back to them, after the fucking Elden Ring fiasco, initially of Elden Ring, people were, not trying to hear any sort of criticism or critique. Gave it a couple of playthroughs for people to start critiquing Shadow of the Erdtree, okay? Shadow of the Erdtree does not deserve a Game of the Year nomination. It's a fucking DLC, all right? And, yeah, it doesn't deserve it, okay? I'm sorry to say. It was a great expansion. I really enjoyed myself, don't get me wrong. But, when something like fucking Metaphor ReFantazio comes out, that's the Game of the Year, in my opinion. In my opinion, okay? I could be wrong. And I definitely think Metaphor is going to get a nom, 100%, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I think Metaphor should win. But that's just me, in my opinion. I mean, what other games qualify for this year? Give me a list, guys. Black Myth Wukong. What else?
So that Wukong should be nominated, but I don't think it will be. I don't
think it will be either.
I don't think it will be, but Black Myth Wukong absolutely should be nominated Game of the Year, because that game it blew the doors off. It's doing all this shit. It's got all this hype around it. It made all the Chinese market came out, broke tons of records. Like, it needs to be nominated, but when Monday comes and the nominations come out, I pretty much guarantee you there will be no Black Myth Wukong in those 6 games. What will be there is Rebirth. What will be there is Shadow of the Erdtree. What else came out this year? I'd like a Dragon Infinite Wealth to be there. That's my personal Game of the Year. But that's not going to get nominated because no Yakuza game will. Metaphor, fantastic game. I still don't think it'll get nominated.
Really?
What will get nominated is Silent Hill 2 remake will get nominated.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely getting nominated.
I don't think that will.
I think
I don't think it will, to be honest.
I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Astrobot.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about Astrobot.
That Zelda game that's mid, but they always gotta have a Nintendo representative.
Yep, that's gonna be there.
I do think Infinite Wealth will get in. And I think Metaphor deserves to be in, but I don't quite know if it will or not. I don't think Wukong gets in because the number of game journals I saw complaining about its difficulty just told me all I need to know about how they're going to vote on that.
I don't agree with that.
They seem to not care about difficulty only when it's a FromSoft game.
I mean, that's very true because and rightfully so, because Sekiro and Elden Ring both deserve those wins. Okay, they both deserve those wins, 100%. I stand by that shit 100%.
Yeah, anything else, they seem to complain about the difficulty and whine about needing difficulty options. But it's a FromSoft game, they don't say that. But for everyone else, they say that.
Actually complain about the difficulty in FromSoft games. That's not true. They do
so
that as well.
I couldn't hear you say again.
They also complain about difficulty in FromSoft games. You don't hear about that easy mode argument every single time a FromSoft game comes out?
That's true, but it
So
seems they never seem to dock from Soft for that though. I just can't see them putting Wukong in,
I can't
especially
see
when
them
some
putting.
of them were doing that whole whining about like clearly showing that when they did their review they didn't complete the game, saying there wasn't women in the game.
I mean, they were mostly
You can
complaining
tell
about
exactly where they stopped playing.
that sexist document that came out, I guess you could say, the sexist environment where the developers who were making the game or some shit like that. I think that was like their main thought process. So I could see it not being nominated for that reason and less so the difficulty. I changed my mind. I think Astrobot's going to win because
Yeah, I can see
of
that.
people were like really glazing it and really enjoyed it, right? So I could see Astrobot winning. Astrobot I think Metaphor's getting nominated. I don't know why you guys don't think it's getting nominated. That game's
The reason
amazing.
I don't see it is as Persona 5. Did Persona 5 get nominated?
No, I don't. Wait, yeah, it did. It did get nominated, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
when it first came out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it has great success, Atlas success. Okay, yeah, thinking about it actually now, yeah, okay, I could get on board with the Metaphor nomination. Yeah,
Yeah.
thinking about it that way, because I originally thought Persona 5 didn't get nominated, and if that didn't get nominated, I would have thought Metaphor wouldn't have. But okay, yeah, okay, I could see it. Stellar Blade will get snubbed. Too
Oh my
small.
god, I fucking forgot
I
about
mean,
Stellar Blade. Yeah.
Helldivers 2 won't get nominated, even though it's a massive success. But there is a reason why he is now allowing DLC and remakes, and that's because Shadow of the Erdtree will be nominated, and I'm pretty sure Silent Hill 2
Yeah.
will
I
also
think
get
now that I
nominated.
think about it, maybe that DLC thing and the remake thing, maybe that's for Silent Hill, more so Silent Hill and less so Shadow of the Erdtree,
Yep,
actually. I didn't
because
even.
it's the biggest remake to come out. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I think 40K Space Marine 2 should get nominated. Good game, but
Mhm.
I mean, you'll probably get nominated for best multiplayer or something, and it'll lose to Call of Duty. It is what it is. But yeah, because there's a reason why he specified expansion packs. Well, there hasn't really been one this year. DLC, there's been Shadow of the Erdtree, and remake, Silent Hill 2's been the biggest one. So, I mean, Jeff kind of threw it on the wall and was like, "Oh, by the way, Shadow of the Erdtree is going to get nominated. Here's the reason why."
Yeah. I could 100% I could see it. Ooh, I mean, Persona 3 Reload. I mean, I personally would definitely
They're gonna
not be
be
okay with that.
they're
But
gonna be definitely mad about that one.
I fucking love Persona 3 Reload. That shit was amazing. That was great. Great
It was.
experience.
It was a
Does not
fantastic
deserve.
game.
What about the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance?
Absolutely not. Too
Oh,
niche.
yeah,
Way
that's
too
definitely
niche.
too niche, too
Way
difficult, I would
SMT
say.
is way too niche.
Difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's because like Persona is like the main line. SMT is like the darker brother of it, where things are a lot harder, it's darker, not as popular, but really popular on Nintendo. But it's because that was always the dividing line. Because if you notice, Persona was PlayStation and SMT was Nintendo. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Yes, I mean, I would love to see Infinite Wealth up there if there's room, but I ask between because you get 6 nominees, right? So Astrobot, Shadow of the Erdtree, Silent Hill 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, 2 spots. Oh, you need the Nintendo game, so there's Zelda. That
And
Zelda
then
game.
Metaphor Refantasio.
There we go. There's your 6. I
So.
mean, yeah.
I mean, what do you
Yeah,
what do you guys
I
think
just
in the chat?
somewhat annoyed that like I feel like there's going to be a game that's deserving of a nomination that's not going to get it because Shadow the Erdtree is going to take a spot. And
Yep.
yeah, a lot of these games. Well, I mean, there's only going to be one winner, but what being nominated for Game of the Year does for a studio is more than just winning, an award. It really raises the profile for some of these studios. I think Remedy being nominated, getting Control nominated, really rose their profile from who they were before then until to now. I mean, FromSoft getting those nominations and then winning really rose their profile as a studio and a developer and put them in a different class, not simply because the games were good, but because people were starting to pay attention more than just the hardcore Souls community. And so having someone, especially someone like that could be potentially like an indie developer, because there's always usually one token indie developer that gets in, and it really kind of allows them to be seen on a bigger scale because their games normally didn't sell anywhere near what other AAA games sell. That really is unfortunate that someone's going to miss out on that this year when they deserve it, because Jeff Keighley is a hoe. And he's hoeing his award show out for his favorite developers to get their shine once again on games they've already got their shine on. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder what Kojima-san's gonna show.
Kojima is gonna come on stage and he's gonna lick his boot. Jeff will lick his boot or something on stage, because I know for a fact, I can tell you now, next year, Death Stranding 2 releases Game of the Year already. Book it. I don't care. That game could be a 60 rate. That's Game of the Year right there. It's going to be nominated. I can tell you right now. Book it. One spot already done.
Yeah. Was Death Stranding nominated?
Yes, it was. It was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
It was nominated. And
that was
I
a very
think
divisive game.
Yeah, and I think his Metacritic score was good, but compared to typically when games get nominated for Game of the Year, the Metacritic score is like 88 or higher. It's like really close, or like 90, a 90 or higher. And I think Death Stranding was like a low mid 80s. It was kind of surprising. Let me double check that.
I think it was like an 85.
It was 82. Right? It was 82.
Oh.
Damn, what came out that year? Must have been dry, eh?
2019. What won that year?
No, that was 2018.
Let's see here. 2019.
Sekiro won, I think.
And rightfully fucking so. Because Sekiro is like my second favorite FromSoft game. It's amazing. Anyone who has not played it should play it, especially if you're into patterns. It's really good for patterns.
It was a light year that year. There was Sekiro, Control, Death Stranding, The Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2 remake, and Smash Bros. And Smash Bros actually came out in December of 2018. But they always gotta have that Nintendo game, and Nintendo didn't drop anything in 2019, so they pushed it forward. So
yeah.
It was a pretty light year.
Yeah. All right, so that makes sense. Because how did Control score?
Control was pretty. It was in the low 80s too, if I recall. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I definitely think Silent Hill remake will be up there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Even though it shouldn't. I know I had my feelings on it when I initially saw it, and I said this is a bad remake. And I know people like it. And all the critics are like, oh, this is great. There are better games. Put Black Myth in there instead. Wukong should be in that Game of the Year nomination.
It's less so about there being better games and more so about the fact that Silent Hill has already had its shine. Just like Resident Evil 2 already had its shine. Like, I feel like Selma was saying, it just takes away a spot from other games where they're making new games, they're innovating, Don't get me wrong, I love me a little remake. I love me a cheeky little remake, right? But I just don't feel like it's warranted, I guess you could say. I don't think it's fair, honestly. I don't think it's fair.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah. And Shadow of the Erdtree should get the fuck out as well to make room for
I do agree with
that.
a
Dragon Infinite Wealth. Something like that.
I forgot that Resident Evil 2 was nominated for Game of the Year, which makes me think okay, yeah, no, he definitely did this for fucking Shadow of the Erdtree. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this shit.
But I mean, I don't mind a remake going in, because a remake is typically something that gets rebuilt from the ground up. There's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a remaster is just like a visual refresh, but they don't really change anything. A remake, a lot of remakes are rebuilt in a brand new, different engine than the engine that the game originally was built on. You look at the work that Bluepoint did with like Demon Souls, like that was a lot of work. They did it, and I think, yeah,
And guess
it's
what?
not.
They still kept the same code in there and the same bugs that existed 10 years ago in that game. All right. Why was Maneater flying into the fucking wall and disappearing multiple times? I had to restart that fight multiple fucking times and having to run through that goddamn level to get to fucking Maneater. Like, FromSoft, I'm sorry, Bluepoint can choke for that. Okay. They use the same goddamn code. All right. So, yeah, that, even though Demon Souls is a technical masterpiece, absolutely beautiful, love it. It's like, okay, they still kept things in there from the original that are not good. All right, don't get me wrong. I've seen some things with the Silent Hill 2 remake, especially where they've expanded on certain boss fights, especially the one where it's like the one with Angela's dad or whatever, where the manifestation of Angela's fear, basically, right? And I definitely think I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I'm just kind of like, unless they are adding things and changing things and completely reinventing the wheel, like with Rebirth, then I'm just like, I don't think a remake should be in there. Like, I would not think that Dead Space remake should be a Game of the Year nominee just because I love Dead Space and I thought the remake was great, you know. And they did add certain things to it, but it's basically the same story still. They're not like completely reinventing the wheel like they would with Rebirth. I think Rebirth makes sense to be in there, but other remakes, not so much. Personally,
I wouldn't mind a remake more than an expansion of a DLC of a game that has already came out. Because for that, like, I mean, you in order for someone to play it, they gotta go play through the previous game up to a certain point, or depending on like how the DLC is, maybe even beat the game in order to even touch the actual, like, so you gotta beat an older game to touch something that's new content for this year. It's just, it shouldn't even.
I think it depends because, like with The Witcher, they had pre-built characters that you could just jump into the expansions with. So, like with Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, you did not have to actually play the game. You could just use a pre-made character and run through it. And arguably, in my opinion, Hearts of Stone has a better story, mainline story, than the main story of The Witcher 3, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I mean,
would agree with it.
but then you're still, it's still easier to make that than even making a remake, because what you're building the expansion off of is the same gameplay, game engine, all the environments, the assets that you've already created off the game that released years ago. So, like, take Shadow of the Erdtree, for example. All the work they put into for combat, for the different like design of armor and weapons. Yeah, they made new things, but a lot of the stuff was still already built. And so when you just decide to just do more, that's cool, but you shouldn't get an award or be nominated for awards when there are games that came out that had to start from scratch. And you didn't start from scratch with this.
But
So it's
even the
just,
concept of, like, starting from scratch, because they still have, like, a baseline for how the gameplay should be and what the story should be, the character archetypes and what the characters who the characters are if you do a remake. Like, it's not like they're making something completely new. At least with expansions, they're adding content, they're changing things, like what they did with Cyberpunk, right? They completely switched things around compared to how things were initially when Cyberpunk came out. So it's like, I mean, again, I don't think remakes or expansions should be nominated for Game of the Year personally, because I feel like it should be new games entirely, just entirely new concepts of games, not just remakes that are there was already a basis there. It's kind of like how people want Bluepoint to make like another Demon Souls game, and it's like, well, Demon Souls is from FromSoft. FromSoft created everything in there, right? And Bluepoint just took that just took that blueprint and then added to it. They created something from that. They built upon it, you know? So, I personally I understand what you're saying. I just don't agree. And I think that's okay too.
I think it's like, thing is, if it's a light year, okay, maybe. But there have been so many great games this year which deserve their shine. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Space Marine 2, Wukong, Metaphor. All 4 of those could deserve a nomination. But you're going to deny these. Stellar Blade probably also deserves one. But you're going to deny these games because you want to put a DLC and a remake in there. I don't know why you're denying these companies. I mean... Eh?
You see what I put in the chat, Solo?
What? You know
I'm
what?
just kidding. I'm just joking. It's a joke.
I don't care.
Just
I don't
messing
care.
around.
I don't
Okay.
care.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
care.
Actually,
I don't care.
I support Luca's statement there.
Oh, okay.
Of course you do.
Well, no, it's because I just hate Square Enix. Because Square is just a fucked up company. They used to be a glorious, well-loved company. Now they're a shell of their former selves.
I'll tell you what. Chapter was it? It's either chapter 9 or chapter 10 in Rebirth. Almost made me want to say, Square Enix, I hope you die. Like that chapter almost made me want to just quit the game. Not because it's hard or anything. It's so annoying and tedious, and it's essentially excuse me, you're controlling Kate Sith, which is one of the worst characters in the game. Can't stand Kate Sith. Never could. Not even back in the day in the original game. But you're controlling Kate Sith, and like the mechanics, like the level design and the mechanics of that entire chapter is just frustrating. And I almost wanted to be like, I was thoroughly enjoying the game up until that point, and I was just like annoyed severely after that. So look, if someone wants to be like screw Rebirth, I understand.
Yeah,
it's still gonna get nominated, but I understand.
It's still gonna get nominated, but fuck Square Enix, because Square Enix makes some fantastic AA games like Triangle Strategy. Glorious. 10 out of 10. This is, come on, Square, keep doing these games. But no, you're going to go, well, we're looking at the bottom line and we're going to stop making these games in favor of some AAA games, which is going to be some regurgitated dog shit that still won't hit your expectations. Fuck them, burn them to the ground. Fuck Square. Nah. They used to be great. Used to love them. Not anymore. There we go.
Yeah. Also a game that does not that does not deserve to be nominated for Game of the Year, and I hope it does not, because I don't want to deal with seeing people's takes. But Veilguard, loved it, had so much fun, beat it, gave it an 8. I do not want to see that shit up there. I don't think it deserves it. I think BioWare should be applauded for actually coming out with a game that is pretty good, I will say, even if it has some issues with the writing. Not just the dialogue, it does have some issues with the writing, especially that fucking secret ending. But like anyway, but yeah, I definitely don't want to see that shit up there. Because I don't want to deal with the discourse. All right. Like, I just don't want to see it. It was bad enough before the game came out, and then right after the game came out, I'm completely over it at this point. Great game though. Really enjoyable. I would say in terms of my favorite Dragon Age games. Now, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah, I think that's my list. And they're all great fucking games. I love all those games very, very much. Very, very, very much. So, ultimately, what's still the best Dragon Age game? Origins. But Dragon Age 2 is my favorite. So,
I think my list will go Origins, then Inquisition, then Veilguard. I don't know yet. I mean, I beat Veilguard, but where I put Veilguard and Dragon Age 2, whether there are 3 or 4, I need some time to think about it, because
think about the dialogue and the writing for Dragon Age 2 in comparison to Dragon Age
superior.
Yeah. Now,
Very much superior. Yeah.
Veilguard is a superior game in terms of combat, I would say, in terms of
Yes.
visuals, and in terms of
By far.
exploration.
Yeah.
Because Dragon Age 2, I mean, I understand why. That is a fantastic game given the amount of time that they were not given, right?
Yeah, they only made it in 18 months, which is unheard of
Also,
to make a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Dragon Age 2 Companions versus Dragon Age Veilguard. I know you don't like Meryl or Anders, and I understand
Because they're terrible characters.
Meryl is a great character. I would say Anders is also a great character. I just don't like Anders. I think I fucking can't stand Anders, actually. But I think they're both great characters. So. Just like, I would beat Solus's ass, but he's a great character, but I would beat his ass if I could. Like I've actually never been so angry at a companion or a former companion than I've been at Solus. Actually, I didn't even want to beat Anders up the way I want to beat Solus up, and I definitely can't fucking stand Anders' ass, right? I hate Anders. I hate him, but I don't even hate Solus. But I would beat his ass if I could. So it's
I would pay to see that Luca versus Solus.
I would listen.
He's saying I'm sorry multiple times as he continues to do things to get you killed or betray you or something. That's just typical Solus.
Piece of shit.
I'm sorry that I'm lying to you once again. I'm just like, dude, shut up.
Luca's gonna be hitting his shins like, I'll get you, Solus.
At least with Anders is not very good at being manipulative, right? Like if you question him a little bit, it's like, you want me to go around planting what? Doing what? I'm not doing that, Anders. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Solus is a slimy little snake, all right? God of fucking lies and trickery, treachery, whatever the fuck, Dreadwolf, fuck him, all right? But Anders, yeah, no, I mean, listen, I would beat Solus up, but I don't even hate Solus as a character the way I fucking hate I hate Anders. Great character though. Fucking hate him. So, but yeah, you got to think about the companions versus with Dragon Age 2. I love the Veilguard companions actually. I think they're all great except for No, I mean they're all great. I have some issues with Tasha's character, but for the most part they're all great. I saw some people on Twitter seeing younger people and their opinions on this game, Slow-Mo, has really it has hurt me. Okay? It is taken a piece of me because all of them are really annoying. All right? Just dumb and fucking annoying. Okay? I hate to be a goddamn boomer about it, but every time someone has a horrible take, I'm like, "How old are you?" I saw somebody say, "I feel so bad about enjoying Veilguard because everybody else hates it." And I'm like, "Bro, grow up." Like, you're letting strangers online make you feel bad for liking a game, like, be fucking serious, dude. Very pathetic in my opinion, but, I left them alone. I was like, "Maybe they're just really sensitive," and I just kept scrolling, right? Then I saw some other takes were just, horrible fucking takes, and every time I see a horrible take, I look at the profile to see what they got in their profile, and it explains everything it tells me everything I need to know, and then I click off and keep scrolling, alright? You're not gonna catch me arguing with anybody in their early 20s, okay? It's just not gonna happen, so, But anyway, Veilguard does not deserve to be there, in my opinion. Great game, really enjoyed it, but, we list the games that I think deserve to be up there. So, all right. Okay. Umbra hit me up about us doing a show. I thought we were supposed to do it today, but I heard not a thing from.
Yeah, he didn't. I didn't hear anything from him either. But I still plan on doing a roundtable on it next week. So I'll let you know when I'm wanting to get it done.
All righty. Okay, so shout out to Miko. Okay, what did Miko say? Okay, Miko said, "Oh, not me liking it and it disappeared. Hold on." All right. Channel member Miko said this. What did Miko say? Okay, Miko said this. Did anyone watch Cross? If so, what did you think of their show and their representation of the DMV? And what the hell is up with their obsession with mumbo sauce? Okay, so I was watching the first.
Hold up. So I haven't watched Cross yet. They really talked about mumbo sauce in the show?
I guess so. I don't know what that is. Is that a DC
Oh,
thing?
that is hilarious. Mumbo sauce it's in every Chinese carryout in the DMV area has mumbo sauce. And you ask for mumbo sauce. It's kind of it's a regional thing.
Sounds fucking delicious. I'm looking it up right now.
It is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. It's like barbecue sauce, but somewhat sweeter and also somewhat spicier or more sour. There's some variation in flavor and consistency. It's put on fried chicken, French fries, fried jumbo shrimp, and fried rice. Sounds fucking delicious. I'm not
You
gonna
just put
lie.
it on everything. You just put it
Yeah.
on everything. You just
All right.
yeah.
I'm glad I have a
Oh man,
representative
that's
of the
cool.
DMV on here to explain.
That
But
is
yeah,
cool.
so
I forgot that like the character Alex Cross is from this area because I read some of the books, but then not all of them. He is the character from Kiss the Girls, right?
yes.
And what's the other book that was a movie where Morgan Freeman played Alex Cross? Well, it was Kiss the Girls, and it was
I'll be honest,
something
I don't.
about a spider.
Along came a spider.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So I actually read those books before the movies came out, I think. So I was aware of the character a long time ago, but yeah, I forgot that character is from
Okay,
this
well,
area. That's pretty interesting.
let me go ahead and talk about I am a big Alex Cross fan, actually. Listen, should I have been reading these books? No. But when I was in elementary school, my grandpa, who was also a big Alex Cross fan, he would give me the Alex Cross books, and I read,
What?
I know, I read Along Came a Spider, Kiss
Your
the Girls,
grandfather, we need to have a word with him.
Jack and Jill,
What are
Cat
you
and
doing,
Mouse,
buddy?
Pop Goes the Weasel, Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue, Four Blind Mice, The Big Bad Wolf, London Bridges, Mary Mary, Cross, Double Cross, Cross Country, Alex Cross's Trial, Alex Cross, and Crossfire. Those are the ones I read. I've not read the later books in the series. And my favorite Alex Cross books are actually, I am a big fan of The Big Bad Wolf. I also really like Violets Are Blue. And I like Kiss the Girls as well. I like Kiss the Girls, and I like how Kiss the Girls ties into Violets Are Blue. So yeah, all very like great series. Great series. Very interesting serial killers. Again, I was like 8, 9, 10 reading these books. I shouldn't have been reading these books, but they're the reason why I have such an expansive and extensive vocabulary. So I'm a big Alex Cross fan. So I was like, oh, and then I saw this clip on Twitter where like Alex Cross was talking to a racist, and the racist was all like, Alex was like, oh, you think that you're, better than me. And then like the racist was like, yeah, just it's a matter of genetics, right? Like I'm genetically superior because I'm white, right? And then Alex is like, oh, right, like how my dick is bigger than yours. And I was like, and then like the other characters was like, what did he just say? And I was just like, oh. And then he went up to the racist guy, my penis is bigger than yours. And then the racist dude was like, get the fuck out, get your dick out of my face, man. And he got him all upset and rattled and stuff.
Did he really say get it out of my face?
Yeah, he said it.
Oh
And
man, now definitely gotta see it now
it's
because that's
fucking
funny.
great, dude. I saw that clip. I was like, let me go ahead and sit my ass down. And it's Aldous Hodge who was in Leverage, and I love Leverage. So I'm enjoying it so far. I asked me if I remember details from the book. I fucking don't, dude. I read that shit. So I'm 31 right now. That was like 20, 30 years, not 30 years. I was like 20 years ago when I actually read those books, right? So I don't remember jack shit about any of that stuff. I remember like detective, he's got kids, wife's dead. Um, and then like his main nemesis was the dude from Cat and Mouse, I believe. And then
Yeah.
he was friends with FBI agent. I don't want to give a spoiler there because they might cover that, so never mind with that. Yeah, so like I don't remember too much from the books, but I did read a bunch of those. So I might actually get back into the Alex Cross series. I've listen, I'm liking it so far. I'm enjoying it. It's very, like, not to be like fucking how do I say? It's pretty interesting seeing a show with like several dark-skinned black people and they're not stereotypes, or it's not like a sitcom or something, right? So that's been interesting as well. So I'm enjoying it. And I definitely
Cool.
think that if you are, I think you guys should give it a shot. It's on Prime, and I'm giving it a shot. So, but again, I'm a fan of this franchise, so for me, it's very easy for me to sit down and actually watch it. And then Miko, okay, so shout out to you, Miko. And then No Envy says, I recently went back and I listened to your Scum on One regarding why you rarely debate people. Although it wasn't my first time listening to the Scum on One, listening to it the second time reminded me of how pointless it really is to argue with people online. Sometimes, whenever someone makes a statement that I know is factually incorrect, I can't help myself but to try and correct and reason with them. This is something I realize that I need to improve myself on, because some people would rather be wise in their own conceits than be open to correction and reevaluate their beliefs when being corrected. You can only educate the willing, not indoctrinate the too far gone. That particular Scum on One aged like fine wine. In my opinion, that's a sign of a good video and live stream. Thanks for what you do for the gaming community. Keep up the great work. Oh my God, thank you, No Envy. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I always appreciate when you guys are like, Luca, bitch, you're kind of wise. It's sometimes you know what you're saying. Sometimes I'm
Good
liking what
grief.
excuse.
Ah,
Hello.
the ego. I mean, yeah,
I
I wish I
know
would
that
stop
you're
doing
not
this.
fucking talking.
Even,
I
even,
know
even though
you're
it
not
is
fucking
true,
talking.
even though it is true, y'all ain't gotta tell her that, okay? Because it's just like it is weeks of this ego tripping that I have to undo to get her back to normal, and it's just
I know that your egotistical ass is not fucking talking.
I don't
We
know
might as
what you're
well two
talking about.
sides of the same goddamn coin. All
I
right,
have zero
two
idea what you
sides of
mean.
the same goddamn coin. All right, you literally said something earlier in this show about you always being right or something like that. Like
What?
I don't recall the exact wording.
I don't think that's what I said. I
It
don't
was
think.
something similar, right? So like that's, I know you're not fucking talking, but anyway, as I was saying, I really appreciate when you guys are like, Luca, I like that you said that, and it resonated with me. I'm like, at least my words matter to some people, because there's so many people where my words don't matter, where people see me and they turn away in disgust. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
my god.
Okay. Anyway, we can just move on from that.
uh,
Yeah, exactly, Leaky. I know, Froggy. Slow. Let's talk about ego. Listen, I know that ain't okay. Appreciate you, Crow. And then Gammon's like, you guys don't have an ego, mostly. Red's like, she's not 31, y'all. She's 18. I'm glad I'm not. Listen, I'm glad I'm not 18. God damn. What's up, Umbro? We were just talking about you. But yeah, go ahead and check that. Check that joint out. And yeah, we can just go ahead and
it's so much to watch right now. It's
Mhm.
really hard to keep up with everything. Like I had to kind of like push the penguin further up because people I knew kept trying to spoil it. And I'm just like, all right, let me just go ahead and watch it before, get caught up and watch all the episodes before people just spoil everything. But I was trying to watch Arcane, which is excellent.
Oh,
and then I've been
Arcane.
and I've been trying to Cobra Kai came back this week. And so I need to watch Cobra Kai. I haven't touched it yet. And then it's just like other shows that now are popping up that people are watching, and in addition to all the other stuff, like I still watch Abbott Elementary. I think I'm a few episodes behind that. It's just too much to watch right now. It's not enough time in the day. It just isn't.
The thing about Arcane being the biggest show, it's like on Netflix, and I'm like not surprised. and it's great. It's because I know some of the popularity comes from the fact that it is League of Legends, and League of Legends is a massively worldwide popular game. So you have those fans like me who tune in, but then it also appeals to the mainstream because the whole Jinx, Caitlyn, Vi, Jace storyline lends itself really well to media, and that's why I was happy they bring this particular storyline, because in the lore all of them are interconnected and it makes great media like Echo. So it's like I absolutely love this shit. And even if you don't like League of Legends, watch it. I personally have to stay muted when we watch it in the Discord, because thing is, I know characters and lore and stuff outside of it, so I can't say a word because I might spoil something. So, like, in my head, I have like 5 different characters that could appear in Arcane Season 2. Can't say it to no one, just in case the character does appear. But it's like, I'm there like, will they appear? Will they this? But yeah, either way, just enjoy Arcane, because it is a fantastic animated show. Like, it's so well done.
All right, sweet, man. Yeah, for me, I've been watching The Sopranos, and I need to finish. I need to finish. What Slomo was just talking about, Penguin. I need to finish that because that first episode was heat. And then I also need to start that Sweet Pea show, the one with Ella Purnell.
That's another one I'm watching, and I got it. I didn't watch this week's episode, so I gotta watch that too.
How is it so far? Pretty good.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's very good so far.
Ooh, okay, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, Ella Purnell is really like on the come up as far as
I love
the stuff that she's in is good. And in Yellow Jackets is another show that she's in. I don't think she's in the latest season coming up, but Yellow Jackets is actually not bad. So it's actually pretty good too. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate her acting, and I really appreciated like what she said during like the Fallout press and everything about I just appreciate a good actor willing to get into the weeds of things, right? So yeah, so I definitely need to, so far right now it's a pretty crazy time right now, guys. So it's good to have some distractions and things to focus on that will help keep you going. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're gonna go ahead and fucking skedaddle and enjoy the rest of our evenings and weekends and everything.
Yeah,
I do want to go ahead.
Oh, as
No, go
chat
ahead.
was saying, Ella voices Jinx in Arcane, and is also obviously in Fallout. And it's like, I mean, like when I heard the voice, I was like, oh, okay. And it's like, I don't know. Check out Arcane, Luca. I think you'll really, really enjoy it if you haven't already.
Yeah, I started watching the first couple episodes. I never finished it, but I liked it. I really did like it. I find Jinx to be a very compelling and interesting character. Of course,
She is.
Of course, she's the one I find kinship with. Of course.
Well,
It makes perfect fucking sense.
I mean, to be fair, I could see you being a psychotic person, blowing up everything, just going on a killing spree.
She's real.
That kind of thing.
She's dealing with she's dealing with mental health issues, man, and
yeah, she is
grooming,
literally.
So.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the reason she turned out the way she did is explained in the first show, and it kind of, this kind of the way, because she was this, sweet little girl, and shit happens.
Shit, listen, and I'm gonna stand beside her. Okay, I actually got to finish the show before I can fully say that. So, because she might be doing some shit that I'm like, okay, maybe not. But anyway, we just skedaddle. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah. You guys got anything to say before we go?
No, I'm good. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy and play some games. Stop being frauds. There you go.
Okay.
Watch Arcane, watch some anime, play your games, and don't believe Jeff Keighley for a minute.
I know. All right. The nominations are coming out next week? Or
Monday at
the
noon.
ability to vote or whatever? Okay.
Well, yeah. I think you should also get the ability to vote at the same time they drop the nomination. So it should be Monday.
Cool. All right. I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Nothing but love. Peace and love.
And to Dwayne in the chat, no, she wasn't always the voice actor. In League, it was Sarah Williams. But obviously they chose Ella to play a more grown-up Jinx. So yeah. It was Sarah Williams is the voice of Jinx in League of Legends.
Okay,
yeah,
I love
anyway.
having people who know what they're talking about on here, man. Love it. Bye, guys.